In today's video, we're going to be making beautiful homemade fruit scones with a nice lightly whipped Chantilly cream, and then we're going to finish that with strawberry jam and fresh strawberries. And this is how you do it. Okay, so we're going to begin by adding 500 grams of self-raising flour into a mixing bowl with a teaspoon of baking powder. We'll then add in 75 grams of caster sugar and then follow that up with 125 grams of diced butter. Now, the smaller you dice the butter here, the easier this process will be. Next, we need to rub the butter with the flour between our fingers and thumbs until it forms a breadcrumb consistency. And then we'll take 90 grams of dried fruit. Now, this can be any dried fruit of your choice. Here I've got some golden raisins, some normal raisins and some dried cranberries. And then we're going to chop that up as finely as we can. Place the chopped dried fruit into the flour mixture and mix everything together, and then make a well in the center. Crack in 2 eggs and a little splash of milk, and then we'll mix it bit by bit until it forms a dough. You can keep adding a little bit more milk if you feel like the mixture needs it, and if you go a little bit too far, don't worry, add a little bit more flour and bring it back to a nice firm dough. At this stage, preheat the oven to 170 degrees centigrade. Turn the dough out onto a lightly floured workbench, and then gently just press with your hands until it comes together, and then get a rolling pin and we'll roll that out until it's about 1.5 inches in thickness. Grab your scone or cookie cutter, and then we're going to cut out the scones. Now, when you're doing this, you need to be very careful. Make sure you press evenly down and don't twist. If you twist, it creates the fibers to twist when you're cutting, which will stop it rising nicely in the oven. Place your scones onto a baking tray lined with parchment paper. You want to have them nice and evenly spaced with roughly around 1.5 to 2 inches between each one. And then we're going to glaze with a lightly beaten egg. When you're glazing, again, this is also very important, you only want to glaze the top of the scone. You don't want it to drip down the sides because that will also restrict the rising in the oven. Now, place the scones in the preheated oven and bake for 18 to 20 minutes. When you take them from the oven, place them on a cooling rack to cool, and we'll make the Chantilly cream. For the Chantilly cream, place 300 ml of double, heavy or whipping cream into a mixing bowl, and then add in 30 grams of icing sugar. Then we'll add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Then we're going to whip the cream until it holds its shape. To finish, cut the cooled scone in half, and then place on a little bit of jam and then cream on top. And now, this is completely optional, but you can finish with some freshly sliced strawberries. But of course, if you prefer, you could always place the cream on first, a nice dollop of jam, and then the fresh strawberries. It's entirely up to you. That's how to make delicious homemade fruit scones with a beautiful vanilla Chantilly cream. Perfect for a summer's afternoon tea. I hope you try it for yourself, and I'll see you in the next video. Grab your scone or cookie cutter. Grab your scone or cookie. Grab your scone or cookie cutter. Grab your scone or